Most people don't realize they're not just observing reality, they're shaping it, moment by moment, simply by being aware. But here's the secret, almost no one has ever told you. Reality isn't out there waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be observed into existence. And that changes everything. Every choice you've made, every experience you've had, every triumph or heartbreak, they didn't just happen by chance. They unfolded because of the energy you were holding and where your focus was directed. Not just once, but constantly. Now you might be wondering, what does that even mean? Let's step beyond the ordinary for a moment. At the smallest level of existence, we enter the quantum realm, a place where things act in ways that defy logic. Here, particles don't truly exist as solid objects. They exist as waves of possibility, infinite potential, until, and this is the key, someone observes them. This is the core of the observer effect in quantum physics. It's not just a theory, it's a proven fact. When a conscious observer focuses on a quantum system, the wave of possibility collapses into one definite outcome. One particle, one position, one choice out of countless others. But what if that same principle applies to your daily life? What if your focus, your emotional energy, is shaping reality around you all the time? The real question is, are you observing with purpose or by accident? This is where it gets deep. The observer effect isn't just something that happens in a lab. It's happening in your relationships, in your finances, in your body. Because your attention isn't passive, it carries a frequency, and that frequency is a signal to the universe. Let me say this again, plainly. Your observation is a creative tool, not passive, not random, intentional. This explains why you may have tried affirmations, visualizations, or vision boards, and yet nothing changed, because you were observing with doubt, or with scarcity, or with desperation. You were focused on what you wanted, but from the frequency of not having it, and the field which mirrors consciousness gave you more of that lack, not because you were wrong, but because it responds without bias. It doesn't filter, it reflects. You see, this is where quantum science aligns with spiritual law. Ancient wisdom has phrased it many ways. As within, so without. What you seek is also seeking you. You don't get what you want. You get what you embody. All of it points to the same truth. Your inner state shapes your outer reality. Let's make this more practical. Every time you focus on a problem with strong emotion, you strengthen it, you observe it, you reinforce it. That pattern becomes a cycle. The same emotions lead to the same actions. The same actions keep you tuned to the same frequency, and the same frequency manifests the same reality. This is why most people stay trapped in predictable lives, not because they're lazy or undeserving, but because they're unknowingly replaying the same script. Now imagine this. What if you stopped being a passive observer and became a deliberate one? What if instead of reacting to what's there, you trained your mind and body to embody what's possible? That's not illusion. That's quantum alignment. It's not about forcing change. It's about resonating with the version of life that already exists, and observing that version so consistently, so vividly, so faithfully, that the field reflects it back. This isn't about empty hope. It's about vibrational clarity. When your heart and mind align, when your inner state radiates certainty, gratitude, peace, and power, you become a new observer. You tune into a new reality. You manifest a new world. And here's what's often overlooked. You don't have to fix your current life first. You don't have to wait until you're ready. You just need to start observing something new from within. So ask yourself, what version of life are you observing now? Are you seeing what's there or tuning into what could be? Because the field isn't waiting for better conditions. It's waiting for a new observer. By now, something in you has already begun to shift, not just in thought, but in energy. You're no longer seeing life as fixed, but as responsive. And with that realization comes a deeper responsibility to become the kind of observer the universe can answer with clarity. Because here's the truth, you don't observe with your eyes, you observe with your whole being, your focus, your emotions, your expectations, your inner state, and the quantum field. This invisible sea of vibrating potential doesn't respond to your eyes. It responds to your energy. We tend to think that seeing is believing, but quantum mechanics flips that around. At the subatomic level, it's believing and deeply expecting that creates the seeing. It's your internal frequency that decides which version of the world appears. Think of the universe not as a machine, but as a mirror. One that reflects not what you wish for, but what you emit. Now let's talk about emitting. The most powerful transmitter in your body isn't your brain, it's your heart. Research from the Heart-Mouth Institute shows that the heart's electromagnetic field is up to 5,000 times stronger than the brain's. Not only that, it reaches several feet beyond your body. And here's the quantum link. This heart field interacts with the energy field around you. It becomes the signature you send into the unseen. And when heart and brain are in sync, meaning your emotions and thoughts align, you create what could be called a clear signal, a steady frequency, a tuned observer. But when your thoughts say one thing, I'm abundant, I'm loved, I'm safe, and your emotions vibrate fear, doubt, or lack, your signal gets scrambled. The field doesn't know what to reflect back, because your observation is mixed. This is why repeating a thought without feeling is powerless. It doesn't collapse anything. It doesn't reach the quantum level. It's like trying to tune into a radio station with a broken antenna. The power isn't in the words, it's in the vibration behind them. This is the science behind what mystics have always taught. When Neville Goddard spoke of feeling the wish fulfilled, he was teaching quantum observation. He meant become the observer, so merged with your desired state that imagination and reality blur. And when you do that, reality changes. Let's make this even more practical. Imagine waking up, and before getting out of bed, your mind starts searching for problems. You think about bills, conversations, doubts. The moment you emotionally latch onto those thoughts, you're tuning into the version of reality that matches them. And your body, your nervous system, can't tell imagined threat from real danger. So it sends stress signals. It floods with cortisol. Your breath grows shallow. Your frequency shrinks into survival. And survival is blind to possibility. But now picture this instead. You wake up, take a deep breath, and rest your hand over your heart. You start to cultivate a sense of gratitude. Not for something that's already happened, but for something you're choosing to bring into being. You feel peace for no reason. You embody trust without proof. This is quantum alignment in action. And here's the profound truth. When your nervous system feels safe, your frequency expands. And when your frequency expands, the field can finally reflect back a reality that matches your deepest desire, not your deepest fear. In that moment, you stop reacting to the world and start creating a new one. Most people live backward. They wait for life to change so they can feel better. But the field doesn't work that way. It doesn't respond to hope. It responds to coherence. You don't wait for clarity to come. You become clear. You don't wait for love to find you. You embody love. You don't wait for abundance to arrive. You align with it. And the moment you do, you become a new observer. One who isn't reacting to the past, but choosing what unfolds next. Because remember, the quantum field holds every possibility. But it's your presence, your emotion, your focus, that determines which one becomes real. So the question isn't why hasn't it happened yet? The question is, am I in emotional alignment with the reality I want to create? Not just once, not just in meditation, but consistently enough to pull it into your timeline. Because the more consistently you observe from alignment, the faster the field matches your vibration. By now the veil is thin. You're no longer just someone learning about the quantum field. You're someone starting to remember that you are the field, in human form. But this realization leads to the next truth. You can't just visit alignment, you must embody it. And how do we embody it? Through repetition, not just of thoughts, but of observation. Because the reality you live is a reflection of the identity you've practiced, consciously or not. Every time you replay the same thoughts, the same emotions, the same inner story, you're rehearsing a version of yourself. You're tuning into a frequency, and the quantum field, always responsive, always neutral, simply mirrors it back. You are the observer, but you're also the observed. And in the loop between the two, a timeline is born. Take this example. Someone says, I always struggle with money. Not just once, but every day, over and over. Emotionally charged. They're not just making an observation. They're training the field. They're reinforcing an identity. And the field doesn't distinguish between a preference and a declaration. It reflects what's declared vibrationally. So even if that person writes affirmations like I'm abundant, if their dominant focus is rooted in lack, the field responds to the frequency, not the words. That's the paradox. You don't get what you ask for. You get what you consistently embody. Neuroscience backs this up. Research on neuroplasticity shows that repeated thoughts and emotions create neural pathways. Over time, they turn automatic. They become your default identity. And the body, always listening, starts to feel those emotions on its own, even without outside triggers. This is how people get stuck. Not because they're powerless, but because they lack deliberate repetition. You can't shift for 5 minutes and expect a lifetime of patterns to dissolve. You have to install the new self like software, with precision, clarity, and emotion. That's how timelines change. Now here's the empowering truth. Your future already exists in the field, not as fantasy, but as frequency. There's already a version of you who's grounded, joyful, abundant, clear, and that version operates on a different energetic code. So the question is, what would that version focus on? What would they feel, think, choose, again and again? This isn't about pretending, it's about becoming. It's not fake it till you make it, it's vibrate it till you become it. Because repeated focus creates stability in the field, and the field starts to recognize you, not as someone hoping, but as someone remembering. You're no longer chasing the dream. You're aligning with the version of you who never lost it. This is where quantum physics meets spiritual practice. Observation isn't passive. It's not just awareness. It's active vibrational programming. And with consistency, observation becomes identity, and identity becomes your timeline. This is why transformation feels invisible at first, because the outer world is slow to catch up, but the field is already shifting in response to your new alignment. You don't see the evidence right away, but you feel the new self waking up. You start responding differently, your emotions steady, Your need for validation fades. Your focus sharpens. That's the proof. The outer is just the echo. The inner is the source. And here's something beautiful. The more you live as your future self now, the less you look for signs, because you are the sign. You become the energy others sense. You become the magnet, not the chaser. And every time you choose that identity again, in thought, in feeling, in action, you strengthen the signal. This is how timelines merge, not by force, by frequency. So ask yourself, what story am I telling? What emotions am I anchoring? What reality am I feeding? Not with my eyes, but with my energy. Because the quantum field isn't waiting for a perfect version of you. It's waiting for a steady version of you. The harder you try to force something, the more you push it away, not because the universe is against you, but because your energy shows you don't yet believe it. The observer effect is often misread. It's not just focusing that shapes reality. It's how you focus, and more importantly, who you are as you do it. A frantic observer fills the field with noise. An attached one, desperate for results, clutters the signal. Their attention is fractured by fear, their intention muddied by expectation. But a calm observer, a clear, trusting one, they don't just shape possibility, they speed it up, because the field isn't moved by force. It's moved by alignment. And alignment is pure. It's not needy. It hums with I am, not I wish. Let's unpack this, both scientifically and spiritually. In quantum physics, the observer collapses a wave function, turning endless possibilities into a single event. But here's what's rarely mentioned. The field reflects not just your focus, but the feeling behind it. So when you observe with tension, fear or urgency, the field mirrors back experiences that match those vibrations. It's not punishing you, it's just matching you. This is why surrender isn't just spiritual wisdom, it's quantum tactics. Surrender isn't passivity, it's clean intention, free from emotional static. It means your desire is clear. Now let the field respond, because forcing is interference. Overthinking is interference. Doubt is interference. When you learn to observe without needing, you emit coherence. You become a clear signal, and the clearer the signal, the faster the collapse. It's like tuning a radio. If you're between two frequencies, there's static, noise, confusion. But when you fully align with one station, the signal turns crystal clear, and reality responds accordingly. Joe Dispenza often says the moment you feel lack, you're back in the old self. That's not just poetic, it's quantum precision. Because the second you feel you don't yet have, your frequency detaches from what you're asking for. Now let's make this personal. Think of the last time you wanted something so badly it consumed you. You couldn't stop thinking about it, visualizing it, looking for signs, questioning if it was working. That wasn't observation. That was control. That was clinging. And the field doesn't respond well to being controlled. Now remember a time when you were at peace. You wanted something, but you knew it was already yours. You felt it. You didn't need it. You weren't begging the field for proof. You trusted the process. And then it arrived, unexpectedly, effortlessly, naturally. That's the power of observing without attachment. That's quantum surrender in action. You send the signal, you become the signal, and then you release the outcome, because the version of you that already has it isn't questioning if it's coming. That version is living it. This is why the observer effect isn't just a scientific phenomenon. It's a spiritual path. You're learning to dwell in the unknown, to walk in mystery without demanding certainty, to love the future so deeply you no longer fixate on it. because you know the field is always listening, and you've become someone worth answering. Let's end with a powerful truth. The harder you try, the more you delay, the more you trust, the more you align, and the more you align, the quicker you collapse the life that's already waiting. The observer effect isn't just about focus, it's about energy. It's about becoming a vibrational match, and then releasing, so the field can do what it does best. Respond. You are not separate from the field. You are not asking for a gift. You are commanding a frequency, and that frequency shapes reality, not through effort, but through your embodiment. So the next time you witness your vision, hold it with reverence, hold it with clarity, and then release it. Because the version of you already living that life isn't seeking proof. They exist as the proof. If you're ready to shift, comment below, "I am shifting," not as a wish, as a statement. Every day, you're transmitting signals into the quantum field, not with your words, not even with your thoughts alone, but through your entire being, through your identity, your emotions, your embodiment. This is where most misunderstand manifestation. They think it's about sending a message out, but truthfully, it's about becoming the message. You are the code. This block is about cementing that realization into your bones, because until now, you may have believed reality responds to what you visualize, affirm, or desire. But the quantum field is far more exact. It doesn't listen to what you say. It mirrors who you are. You are always broadcasting data, and that data becomes instruction. The way you sit, breathe, feel, think, expect, it all forms your unique vibrational signature, and that signature is the language the field understands. Imagine entering a room full of radio transmitters, all tuning into signals. The signal with the strongest frequency, the clearest tone, receives the clearest response. That's how your field operates. If your vibration is scattered, some in fear, some in desire, some in lack, you transmit noise, and the field doesn't know what to reflect. But when you become aligned, when your thoughts, emotions, body, and energy speak as one, you become a precise code, a quantum command. You're no longer just observing, you're directing the universe to rearrange around your state of being. Now here's the key, that code can't be faked. You can't pretend to be abundant while resonating with scarcity. You can't recite affirmations from a mind full of doubt and expect the universe to be fooled. The field doesn't speak English. It doesn't care about your vision board. It reads one thing only, your vibrational alignment. And here's what makes it powerful. You can alter that code in real time. Every moment, you're writing and rewriting your energetic script. You do it through how you breathe, how you speak to yourself, which emotions you let take root, and how deeply you remember your truth. You do it not by wishing for reality to change, but by becoming the person for whom that reality is natural. This is where practice turns into identity. You don't visualize just to see. You visualize to feel. You feel to rewire. You rewire to emit. And you emit to become. Let's bring in the science briefly. Neuroscience shows that neurons firing together wire together. When you repeat states of gratitude, certainty, joy, alignment, you forge new neural pathways. But that's not all. Those neural patterns shape your hormonal chemistry, your electromagnetic field, your heart rate variability, all of which extend into your biofield and imprint the quantum. In other words, repetition builds resonance, and resonance becomes your new reality code. But here's where most stop. They do the practice, but not the embodiment. They meditate at dawn and panic by noon. They journal the vision, but question it by dusk, and then wonder why nothing shifts. Here's the truth. If the field is a mirror, you must become a steady reflection. Unsteady energy creates unsteady results. Precision, emotional, mental, and energetic, is what the quantum field responds to, because your consistency becomes your authority. So how do you embody the code? You start living as if the shift has already happened. You wake up and breathe like someone who's already free. You enter rooms like someone who knows their power. You speak with the calm of someone who trusts the timeline. You treat money, love, and opportunity not like missing pieces, but like inevitable outcomes. You feel first. You believe before seeing. And above all, you stop needing proof, because you are becoming the proof. The most magnetic people you've ever met. They aren't chasing anything. They're aligned. They've settled into their center, and the field rearranges around them effortlessly. This is your next level, becoming the code, not quoting it, not memorizing it, living it. And here's the paradox. When you truly become it, you no longer need to control the outcome. The field takes over. And because you're now encoded with precision, it knows exactly what to deliver. So let's ask a new question. What is your energy telling the field right now? Is it aligned? Is it clear? Or is it still signaling hesitation? Because the field isn't waiting for your perfect mood or your best day. It's waiting for your clarity. And clarity begins the moment you choose to become the code. Let that be now. There comes a moment on the quantum journey when you stop reaching. You stop striving. You stop chasing some distant timeline, as if it was separate from you, and realize something astonishing. What you desire is already woven into you. The only thing that ever kept you from it was the vibration of effort. In quantum mechanics, time isn't linear. Past, present, and future are superimposed, all existing as possibilities until observed. That means your future isn't waiting somewhere ahead. It's here, right now, vibrating in a higher dimension, waiting to be tuned into. Not through force, not through effort, but through resonance. This changes everything, because instead of chasing, you become still, and your frequency draws it to you. You don't chase the timeline, you merge with it. This is the hidden code behind every sudden breakthrough, every quantum leap, every seemingly magical manifestation. It didn't happen because the universe finally allowed it. It happened because for a moment, you became the version of you capable of holding it. You matched the vibration, you embodied the timeline, and reality had no choice but to reflect it. Let's bring this down to earth. Most people live in the gap between who they are and what they want. That gap is made of resistance, fear, self-doubt, impatience, overthinking, and the more they focus on the distance between here and there, the wider it becomes, because focus shapes reality. The longer you stare at what's missing, the more you reinforce the timeline of lack. But when you turn inward, when you feel like it's already yours, when your nervous system settles into the new frequency, when you stop needing and start being, that gap closes, time bends, the field rearranges, you step into the life meant for you. And that's the ultimate quantum secret. You're not manifesting anything new, you're reclaiming who you already are. You've already experienced this future in the field of infinite potential. That's why you can see it, feel it, desire it so clearly. You're not crazy. You're sensing hints from a version of you that already exists, expanded. All you have to do now is let that version lead. So how? Release the timeline, drop the mental deadlines, stop demanding it unfold a certain way. Stop seeking proof and start living, truly living, as if the shift is done, not as pretend, but because you've known it, deeply, unshakably, until your body believes. And once the body believes, the field responds. Remember, the quantum field isn't testing you, it's mirroring you. Every delay isn't punishment, it's a nudge toward alignment. And when you're fully aligned, when your energy is undeniable, manifestation can't be stopped. The future isn't distant, it's now. The leap isn't far, it's within. And the miracle isn't out there, it's you. So as we close, I invite you into stillness. Breathe, feel, tune in, because right here in this breath is your doorway. And the version of you that already has it all is just a step away. If this stirred something in you, subscribe. Not just for more content, but to stay in sync with the frequency we're co-creating. This is a movement, this is awakening, this is how we rise together.